I think as far as like setting and location, it's there's all of the enemies like home worlds and planets, which are all we've seen about in the lore, and I think they're all possible. Like I can't really imagine Destiny 3 just being set in, okay, here's Earth, but just like a different part of Earth, and here's Venus again, and here's Mercury. But you have what is it, Reese Reborn, the Fallen homeworld. You have Torbatol, the Cabal homeworld. Is it Volantis, the Vex home star, or is it where they come from, or just where they colonized?
Yeah, it's not clear if it's their origin point, but it's, the origins of the Vex are mysterious and potentially linked to precursors anyway. But Volantis, the 2082, the thing you're talking about,
blue star with the Dyson swarm. That sounds
it's
really
a massive
cool.
system. It's a Vex solar system basically, and like
that could be a place.
Also ripe for exploration.
And then of course, Fundament. Is that still around, or is that destroyed?
Interesting question. The lore from back in the day, way back when, in Taken King, implied that it was destroyed by the God Wave, but we now know that that's a lie, because that was a lie invented by the Witness. So Fundament might still be around, but it'll be a ruined shell of itself if it is. Not to mention, Rolk, the Witness, and all of the Hive basically ravaged all of Fundament's moons and Fundament itself.
And
so it could still be there, and it's been billions of years. It could have changed. It could have grown back.
The dead Leviathan.
Who knows?
Floating around there somewhere.
Yeah.
Probably doesn't seem like it would be a very fun, nice place to be. It seems like a pretty miserable, but would probably be quite cool.
What I hope is that they give us a this is totally a pipe dream. I hope they give us a proper ship, not like a snub fighter like we're running around with in Destiny right now. I hope they give us something which is like the size of an Armada class, like carrier or something. Like you're talking about a massive ship that's capable of interstellar journeys, and it's no longer a case of we're going to things in our system. You can visit Earth, sure. You can visit Venus, you can visit Mars. But this ship is also maybe capable of, instead of near light speed jump, actual light speed jumps, and can go to places like Torobatl and to Reese and to just anywhere in between. And the reason that's so wonderful is it no longer restrains Bungie to just the solar system, which in itself has some awesome stuff which we absolutely need to explore anyway, but also it opens up tons of crazy possibilities. Like, do you remember the lore about the Drifter going to a world that's just full of darkness?
Yeah, like, was it icy?
Icy world, nothing on it except for ziggurats that had these darkness-filled predators inside them that consumed the light of the Guardians and their ghosts and stopped them from resurrecting. Like, that's a whole presage-level kind of story place that you could be going, and it's got nothing to do with the system. It's beyond the edges of our solar system. So, like, if you're sitting there and looking for content to go ahead and do, go ahead and grab that. Not to mention, Keitel and Zivo Arath are going to go to war at some point. Torobatl must be retaken.
She's just out there doing something.
Out there chilling.
Yeah. There's also the Deepin or the Aphelion. They sound pretty terrifying.
Only one Awoken has survived an attack by an Aphelion, and that's Sieur Ido, who is literally their greatest warrior ever. And slayed dragons and all that. So it's like, what the hell are they and where are they? We still have unanswered questions when it comes to the Nine and what they will see as changes and benefits from the defeat of the Witness. And then there's just other random stuff. Like, we could go through the Cocytus Apertures, which is this series of random teleportation gateways somewhere out in the reef that could take us to the realms of the Nine. On Triton, Neptune's moon, there is an undocumented species of, quote, massive fauna with pincers and many legs. So giant alien spiders.
Sure.
Just chilling above Neomuna on its moon.
Sure. That sounds like Destiny 3 stuff right there. Like what you just said. Fauna with claws and that sounds I want that. I want that.
There's so much random stuff to explore here, and I think there does need to be a big picture mystery going into things, because right now Destiny isn't very focused, and I hope that they have more of these big legends that start to resurface and show themselves in the future. Because back in D1 we had things like Saint 14 and the possibility of a Cabal empire somewhere looming on the edge of the system. And even in D1 Vanilla, the idea of the Hive gods and who they were, or the Worm gods and who they were. Like, all these big mythological things that have been built up and now explained, they've led us in a certain direction. I just really hope that Bungie does something important in the next few episodes and builds more of those mythologies.
Yeah.
And gives us things that we genuinely would want to see in the next games. Like, gives us landmark stuff. That's what I want to see.
Yeah, I saw your video about the mystery of Destiny and kind of how to rebuild that, and completely agree. It's obviously it's a byproduct of the game being 10 years old and them trying to obviously pay off stories, because the witness is something. It's like, okay, we don't need mystery. We actually want to find out like what it is. But
we
then
need answers, yeah.
Just if you go back to the Destiny 1 days, there were so many things that were just like, oh, I wonder what Osiris looks like just things like that. There were just mysteries of just Saint 14 and things you'd hear about and read about, but places you'd hear about, like the Deepstone Crypt, and just things that were mysterious. But now we've just, oh yeah, been there, we've raided it, we've been there, done that.
Yep.
Another place I thought of was the Distributary, the Awoken Home dimension,
the Awoken
and that's
Home
like
world.
a whole nother just system, like little pocket universe, I think. So that has endless possibilities. I think the Vex, we saw, I think we talked about it last time, but the Vex definitely seem like they could have some involvement with what happens after the final shape, or maybe some kind of time travel stuff or alternate timeline stuff. We saw, what was it? It was a Bungie developer in a trailer was talking about how there's a reason why the Vex haven't been very prominent, and they're going to play a role later, assuming after final shape. So the Vex could have some, the Vex are obviously time traveling and can just enter into that whole world of timelines and a different version where maybe the Witness never existed, or take it back to maybe a prequel or something like that. But that could also be
I think it's also worth remembering too that when it comes down to the Vex, there are characters stuck in the Vex network, right?
Praedyth.
So you've got like Praedyth, you've got a bunch of digital copies of the various Ishtar collective team members. Ashemir's now, sadly, with the Vexcalibur mission, one of the last lore entries that comes along confirms that he's now been subsumed by the Vex.
Oh,
so he is dead.
Oh, yeah.
Which is big sad, but he gave us information about the Veil before he died, so,
Not one of the most beloved characters.
No, really not.
Quite grating in his...
I much prefer him being just talking to us in Morse code as a harpy. I much prefer him in that form.
And then what about similar bit in the Ascendant realm, but Toland? What's he up to?
Yes, there are characters out there in the Ascendant realm where we just don't know what's going on. And bigger than any of all that, I think, we seem to have forgotten that there's a momentary truce with her, but she's still alive now. Savathun is back.
Yeah.
The literal witch queen, the mother of all schemes and conspiracies and shenanigans. She's back, and she's now probably the most powerful of the Ascendant Hive because Xivu has been banished from her throne world. So it's like Savathun 2 Redux is coming along at some point. Oh man, we really do need to worry about that. I'm going to say this too, because it stuns me that more people haven't seen about this. The whole plan for us to enter the Traveler and whatnot, her plan, she made the wish with Riven for Crow to go through. So I have to imagine that there is a weird finagled plot that she has mixed in with all that requires us to follow this route. Even with the end of the universe being up in the stakes, I think that Savathun has a plan around it. She's too devious to not do that. So even if we are being delivered into the Pale Heart, and even if we do learn Transcendence and all this stuff, I still think we're factoring into her plans, which is just...
But do you think she's she's a adversary? Do you think she's an enemy, or do you think we can just kind of be allies, peacefully? And coexist, and she kind of respects us because she also wants to defeat the Witness, right? She's at odds with the Witness. So if we defeat the Witness or she helps us, then maybe at the end of it she'll be like, you know what, you Guardians are all right. I'm just gonna leave you alone and we can coexist. Is that a possibility?
Savathun's entire means is very weird. Like, the reason why she does things is not always completely clear by design.
That's true.
And whether we factor into things, it will always be for her advantage. I think that she still follows the idea of the hive of like, I'm going to try and make myself stronger, and that's part of the reason why she took the light in the first instance, right? So it's still going to be one of those things where she inevitably is probably going to be an adversary. Temporarily, we have a truce, but you know, it's the entire thing is just a bundle of potential, and that's what I think really excites me. You know, if we did a Destiny 3 and Savathun was on the cover somehow, and there was a bunch of other stuff going on, I'd be like, yep, just sign me up. Like, you know, like that immediately would have my attention.